And now it's time for the ridiculous.
What kinds of things make people piss?
And how many suitors exactly has she dismissed?
Siri, what are some locations for a lover's tryst?
Oh, darling, surely there must be a list.
A list?
A list?
A list? You're telling me it's all here on this bleeding list? That's preposterous and ludicrous.
Well, actually, it's all quite
ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous.
Welcome to the Ridiculous.
Welcome back, everybody. For those of you that might be watching, it looks a little different yet the same.
Different the same.
In that we gave up on our recording in person endeavors.
Yeah, I decided that I didn't like seeing Jen in person. That was what really happened. Jen didn't like having me in her house, and I didn't like being there.
No. It felt weird to have you in it, and I prefer this way.
Yeah.
No, honestly, just the sound, like we wanted to do, like we did back in the day where we recorded together and in person, but the sound is just better this way.
The sound is better, and we're not sound engineers, so we can't figure it out otherwise.
Look, we're doing this for you guys, and honestly, I don't think you guys care at all.
But let us know otherwise if you do.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear about it.
Do you want Sally in my house and for us to sound like shit? Or do you want us to be a respectable distance away from each other at all times and for the podcast to sound pretty good?
Yeah.
You guys decide.
You guys let us know. Let us know what your priorities are. Well, you know what? I think we should get to the list.
Okay, who's going first this week?
I think it's you.
It's me. Wonderful. Okay, I have a fun list. This will make me never want to go to a theme park again.
Okay.
But it is for Insider.com, compiled by Stephanie Ash, and it is 14 theme park horror stories that will make you cringe.
Yes.
We touched on a couple of theme park horror stories on previous episodes, but this one's a little bit different. Okay, number one. We went on a roller coaster where you're essentially standing with a bike seat in your ass. We got stuck on the ride 3 times, totaling up to 2 hours. What? They offered everyone free pizza.
Pizza?
Okay, I think no. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I think free pizza seems chintzy.
Oh, absolutely it does. But where my thing is, the math isn't adding up for me because everyone knows on this sounds like the Superman ride to me where you're standing right with the bike seat up your butt. Is that, or no, that's the Scorcher. I know it's different in everybody's Six Flags, but anyway, everyone knows you wait in line for 2 hours to get on a ride that lasts 3 minutes.
Right.
Or a minute. So if you got stuck on the ride 3 times, how the hell were you on this ride for 2 hours? Unless it got stuck, and then once it got unstuck, they made you ride it again, and then it got stuck and you sat there for forever.
What if it got stuck
and then it made you
for 30 minutes and then it moved 2 feet?
A little bit more. Okay.
And then 30 more minutes. And then 45 minutes and then 15.
Either way, it sounds horrific, and pizza definitely does not make up for this one says, this is all the same one. I'm sorry. There's more after free pizza.
What happened next?
Oh my goodness.
I must know.
This is why I should read these beforehand, but I don't because I want to be surprised just like you guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So this says, a few rides later at the top of our drop, every other cart drops but ours. We're stuck at the top for another 2 hours. I don't have a fear of heights, but the girl beside us was puking and it was pretty high up. I can only imagine the wind taking her puke and ruining someone's day. Anyway, 2 hours pass, and without warning, they drop us, and I, of course, was thinking I'm going to die. I didn't, obviously, but they offered us pizza for the convenience. Listen, this was a harrowing story, but you're not a great storyteller, whoever sent this in. Your timeline is jumping this way and that.
Jen has some critiques.
I don't listen. I feel really bad for you. I'm sorry about the stuck ride. I'm sorry about the pizza. But come on, linear. Stay linear in your storytelling so that we can follow you.
We like to only take people's stories that are good storytellers.
Come on. You're making me look like an idiot. Oh, there's more. This person said.
But wait.
This person's name is Redditor Galian. Redditor Galian, you're killing me. This one, and then they said, I think about this now and it makes me astounded how easily 13-year-old me was satisfied. Here's a better way to tell the story. When I was 13 years old, I went on a roller coaster. The roller coaster was stopped. I was stuck above it, like I was stuck high up for 2 hours. Then they dropped us and they gave me pizza. The end. Thank you.
Okay, is it actually done? Is it actually done?
Yes, now it's done. It is done. This one says, my friend's dad took my friend and me to an amusement park one summer when we were 11. Thank you. You're already setting the scene for us, whoever the storyteller is. Okay. It was located in Houston, and if you've ever been to Houston during the summer, you know it's hot as fuck. We woke up late that day and went straight to lunch beforehand, where I ate a cheeseburger, salty fries, and a soda. So at that point, I had absolutely zero water leading up to our arrival at the park. We finally get inside and traverse the park to get in line for our first ride, which had an estimated 1 hour wait time. Well, about 30 minutes into the wait, I started feeling a little odd. I was getting lightheaded and things were very oddly fading in and out into different shades of yellow. I had no idea what was going on, so I tried to tell my friend's dad, but it was too late. At this point, I remember everything turning into a very dark shade of yellow. I couldn't speak, and the last thing I remember was I was watching my deep yellow hued vomit being broadcasted all across the lady in front of me.
No.
I woke up in the medical center at the theme park and I was diagnosed with severe heat stroke that nearly killed me. Safe to say we made sure to drink plenty of water in the summer going forward. Oof.
Oh,
that's awful.
Awful. Yeah, that's crazy to get heat stroke from just like a day out at a theme park.
Yeah. I mean, well, she was saying in Houston, it's just like so hot. And if you just eat, shitty, salty food like that beforehand, it's just a recipe for disaster. Oof. I mean, we've taken hot yoga classes before where like afterwards we feel like drunk.
Yeah.
Like hungover and drunk like you're dying because like it's no joke. Stay hydrated, guys. Stay hydrated.
Write your stories in a linear fashion and fucking stay hydrated.
Yes.
Jen's tips of the day.
Yes, come on. This one says, someone threw a small plastic pumpkin off a ride, probably going 40 miles per hour, and it hit me directly in the throat when I was standing in line. Oh my God. Fuck those people. That poor person. People. And I sympathize with this so much. I've been hit by many moving things, but when it reminds me of the time I was on the Circle Line in New York, like on a field trip to go see the Statue of Liberty or whatever. And this kid was spitting his gum in like drippy, drooly spit from the second level. And then my mom turned around and saw like the horror on her face when she realized all of my hair and shoulder was just covered in like drips of bubblegum spit.
No.
My whole trip was ruined. Then the other thing was I was just telling the story the other day. I remember when I was running, there was this road in Marietta. It's called Pete Shaw Road. And it's the road that like your track and cross country coaches make you run it. And it's like the devil. It's all just hills.
Yeah.
And I was running it voluntarily one day and a car full of like teenage boys drove by and they threw like a whole full like soda in like a paper soda cup, but it was full and it like smacked me across the jaw. And I was so angry that all I had in my hand was my Walkman, or like it was like my Discman or something, and I threw it at the guy's car, and it cracked the back windshield, and then he got out of the car to come yell at me like these young kids. I was like, "Call your parents. Let's tell them why. Call them right now." And they all just like drove off. But I remember being like, "Fuck you!" But I was so mad because it did break my Discman.
Yeah.
And whatever like CD it was in it.
Fucking call your mom. I'll call your mom right now.
Cool, let's do this. Little shits. I got stuck on an octopus ride at this super seedy theme park. It's not that the ride broke down and that I had to sit there for a while. No, the operator walked off and left the octopus running. And they got it to spin around in it for like 20 minutes until he wandered back. It was fun until it really, really wasn't.
Oh my God. Oh, that's awful.
This one's pretty bad. I was riding a roller coaster and got hit right in the eye with a bug. I was wearing my contacts, and upon impact, my eye was burning so bad. I was alone in the park, and when the ride came to the station, the pain was only getting worse. I had to crawl out of my seat and wave to a worker that didn't speak much English. 20 minutes later, help arrived, and they washed out my eye, but I couldn't find my contact. I called my ride and went to the ER. Long story short, my cornea was ripped open 8 millimeters by 8 millimeters and had pieces embedded in my eye.
Oh my God.
The doctor said my eye will heal and will push the pieces out. And he gave me tons of antifungal eye drops and numbing drops to help me. A week later, I had to go back to the doctor and the eye healed over the pieces. We planned surgery the next morning. They cut my eye open.
Horrifying.
This is like a fucking horror movie. The doctor said if it had gone a half a millimeter deeper, I would have lost my vision. I'm still wearing contacts and riding roller coasters. Dave! Why, Dave? His name is Dave. Wink, wink.
Oh, Dave.
God.
Oh, it just kept getting more graphic. People talking about like injuries to eyes and toenails. Like those are the things that make me the most squeamish.
Teeth and eyeballs.
Teeth, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you've seen those pop-up ads that come up where it's just like a fungus in a toenail. Have you seen those? Those, it like makes me want to puke every time I see it.
They might just be targeted to you for a reason.
For no reason. I'm just kidding. Have you ever seen where those ads that come up that were like, "Are you a disgusting hoe bag?" Have you seen those? Or is that just me?
Are your friends tired of you being such a fucking bitch? Take our class on stop being such a bitch. Are you tired of being disgustingly ugly? Stop looking at your phone, because we're sick of looking at your face. This one says, my brother and I were on a ride called 1001 Knots. It was supposed to simulate a magic carpet. We were in the back row. I wonder if it's 1001 Nights.
Yeah.
They spelled it NACHT. Like, what is a knot?
HT. I don't.
NACHT. Yeah. Okay. Let's edit. Let's say it's 1001 Nights. Probably.
It makes more sense to me.
It was supposed to be. It was supposed to simulate a magic carpet. We were in the back row on the far left. The ride started, and we started to hear coughing way on the other side of the ride. We realized pretty quickly that the dude on the other end was losing his cookies. Both my brother and I started yelling at the ride operator to stop the ride, but he couldn't hear us over the panic screaming of the other riders who are now getting hit, getting it on their shoes. It was a bad time. Ugh. Gross.
Yeah.
This one's pretty gross too. Okay. This one says, I was on holiday in Florida from Ireland. We'd been told specifically not to drink the water. My family and I adhered to this well, apart from our last day at a water park. Everyone else opted for an ice cream, but I wanted soda. I drank it slowly, and as I did, the ice gradually melted into the drink. I was about 3/4 of the way up the slide when the chronic cramps started. I ended up going down to the smaller slide about halfway up just to get down quick. How I did not leave a skid mark is beyond me. The nearby toilets were closed for cleaning, so I had to go across the entire park to get to the toilets near the entrance. That would just ruin a million people's days.
I mean, that's really interesting that people are told, I guess, that like in Florida, not to drink the water.
But I always drink Florida water, but maybe it's
Yeah.
because like we're
You're
garbage
used to
people. Yeah.
You're used to it because you're a garbage
Wow.
person. That makes sense.
God. Okay. This one says my wife got shit on by a bird on our honeymoon. She won't let me tell anyone about it in real life though. Come on. It's funny that you got shit. Who hasn't gotten shit on by a bird?
Right?
I think if you're the kind of person that's going to like get shit on by a bird and not make a story about it and laugh about it, then that's a really sad life.
It's a really sad life.
You know
I
what
would
I
be
mean?
telling everybody. I would find the funny in a bird pooping on me.
Yeah. I mean,
Everybody would know
listen,
about it.
It happens to everybody. We all have our moments. This one, it's whether or not you can laugh about it. That's what makes the person.
Yeah.
This one says, it wasn't at an amusement park, but in the late 70s, I was on one of those Ferris wheel-like things with the cages that you can lock and spin upside down. When puke from a previous rider slid out and landed on my leg, I was wearing shorts. Yuck. Ugh, gross. Oh, this one sounds terrible. Okay. We had a Riptide water ride where people could ride bodyboards like a big wave. And while I was talking to the other guard, I heard the whistle go off like there was an emergency. As I approached, a guard told me that there was a nail in someone's foot. I thought he meant that someone stubbed their toe and their nail pushed back into their toe, but it was an 8-year-old girl who had stepped on a 4-inch screw left over from the maintenance the ride had recently undergone right into the heel.
Oof.
Ugh. I wish I didn't read that. We need to like re-implement our little kid rule. We used to have a little kid rule for dumb love is like nothing where little kids are harmed.
Yeah.
So I didn't see that coming on this. So I apologize.
Yeah. Let's apologize to our listeners, please, Jen.
I'm sorry.
This is a comedy podcast.
I know. Okay. I don't know what a mufflehead is. Do you know what a mufflehead is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. This one says, okay, I think it's a bug. Okay. In June, muffleheads are fucking everywhere at this amusement park. It's ridiculous. At night, lights are completely covered in them. During the day, there are tons of dead ones laying around on the ground. My friends and I decided to ride a roller coaster a few minutes before the park closed one night. It's a roller coaster with 120 miles per hour takeoff that takes you 400 feet in the air and straight back down. We made the poor choice to ride it in the front row. As soon as we took off, I was just pelted with those bastards. My face and chest were covered in dead muffleheads. It was fucking disgusting. I had to go to a bathroom and wash them off me. The second one happened at a very high-speed coaster that goes over 100 miles per hour. As I got off the coaster, I heard screaming and crying. It turns out that a girl was hit in the face by a bird flying by her tracks. Her face was extremely bloodied and mangled. Paramedics were rushed there and took her away. It was crazy. That happened to Fabio. Do you remember?
Yeah.
There's like a famous picture of Fabio, the famous cover model of every romance book or whatever that was like hit in the nose by like a dove or something. And it broke
while
his
he
nose.
was on a ride. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Ooh, this one's okay. This one is about a child, but it looks like everything turns out okay in the end. When I was about 6 or 7, my family went to an amusement park in California. I was riding a roller coaster with my mom. The ride has a drop-down lap bar that holds both riders sitting in the cart. My mom was obviously much bigger than me, Nice kid. Way to rub that in.
Obviously.
Obvious. Yeah. It was much bigger than me. So the lap bar did not secure me. About halfway through the ride, I slipped out of the seat to the floor of the cart and was hanging on for dear life as we flew around the turns. The sides of the cart are open. You should have seen the look on my mom's face. She was terrified. I didn't fall out and the ride ended, but I never rode that again. Oh my God. Can you imagine being a mother and like, oh, I would die.
No, that I mean,
would
but I
die.
remember that's how roller coasters were when we were growing up. Like they were just the lap belts.
Yeah.
And then I think sometime like maybe when we were maybe teens or preteens, that's when they got the things that went over top. But I clearly remember riding a ride like that. That was like a big roller coaster that just had the lap belt and being in it with like one of my parents and feeling like, oh, this doesn't feel all that safe.
Yeah. Speaking of those little like digs by your child, that just happened. Like, I'm almost embarrassed. She'll be a lot older when she listens to this and maybe less embarrassed. But my daughter just had that day in school where they like separate the boys and the girls and they have to do like the boys growing up boys and growing up girls is the name of it. So Louise had hers and she came home from school and, you know, we had to talk about it. And there's like a thing you have to talk about together and you have to like do this worksheet together and sign. And one of the things it says like you have to like sign a thing that says like as I get older, my breasts, and you fill in the blank, my breasts will grow. And I was like, well, not necessarily. I was like, you might take after grandma, you know, who has a lot more. And I was like, or you know, your aunts, they're very, you know, well endowed. I was like, or you might be like mommy and you're just like little forever. And she was like, you're not that little. She was so disappointed. She was like, you're not really that little. And I was like, thank you, but
I don't think you have a lot of comparison here.
I know. Godspeed, Louise. Good luck to you. Anyway, and this one says
my friend's daughter. So my friend who's like very flat chested and. But her daughter, when she was little, would always like just touch my boobs. Like, and she was like, she doesn't know what they are.
Because she's like, whoa, what?
Whoa. Yeah. What are these?
They're not for everyone.
Not for everybody. Not everybody has the same things.
It was just funny, like watching her fill that out. Like, I will get breasts. And I was just like, maybe not. Maybe not.
This isn't a contract.
Anyway, okay. This next one says, I almost drowned in the lazy river. Last year on the Raging Rapids portion of the lazy river, I go with a group of friends and get on, and I'm thinking this is not going to be raging in any form of the word. So I hop on a raft with my friend and we're going, and as expected, it wasn't intense at first. And then we hit this patch of white water and because of the way we hit it, we both got chucked off the raft and onto the melee of water and people. Now you're probably thinking, okay, this is 3 feet of water max. And they said, correct. And on a ride that's open to kids, correct again, and she'll be fine. So at first I'm slightly frightened. I was taken by surprise and a little confused and really embarrassed and a little amused. But then as I reach for the raft again and I try to get back in, I realize I don't see my friend and I'm being sucked under the water. So down I go. I did manage to get a breath, so I'm not too concerned until I lose my raft and my friends. We'd all gone down in a group. And I'm sucked under and spun around once again. And now I'm actually starting to freak out. Like panic had started to settling in. And just as I'm thinking, holy crap, I might actually drown on the Raging Rapids, I feel the hand of a lifeguard grab me and pull me to the surface. I think you're a little.
You're
fine.
You got sucked underwater for a couple seconds. Okay.
All right. You're good.
And you just put your feet down. Put your feet down. Stand up.
Just get up. Just get up.
I will tell you though, we went to a water park this summer and I hadn't been forever. And have you like the one we went to had a wave pool that was like no joke. Like it was it was very scary. Like every time it went on, the lifeguards would have to pull people out. Like the waves were like 6 feet tall. I was like, I'm not going in this with Max because I'm too scared and he has no fear. And like literally you had to like hold on to him or else he would like go under. Like it had an undertow. It was crazy. I was like, why are we doing this here? Like why? But people loved it. It was nuts. It was full of teenagers making out.
Listen, I just stay away from all of those things. Anything like wet with lots of strangers.
I mean, I think it's a good rule.
Rather not.
Yeah.
I'd rather not.
Can I say no, thank you?
Everybody's always talking about how awesome that Great Wolf Lodge is or whatever. I'm going to get sued by Great Wolf Lodge. Everybody's always like, oh yeah, it's the best. My kids love it. And like, you can sit up like and drink and while they play in the water park and it's so fun. And I'm like, I just picture that it's like very hot and wet and humid and sticky. And again, I'd just rather not. I'd rather take them to like the Four Seasons and just get in the bed and watch some movies. If we're gonna go to a hotel somewhere, the Four Seasons has a pool. Also,
yeah. I'm with you. I actually love water slides. Like I'm a big fan. But what I realized going to this water park this summer, I was like, oh, I really hate crowds, especially of kids and teenagers. And so I believe if I had like a water park to myself, like when we lived in Hungary, we went to this place in Poland that was like an adult water park. And it was like not crowded. There were water slides. There were like all sorts of fun water things. And it was amazing. And I would like
so there's
that.
No like diapers and stuff too.
No diapers.
That's a weird thing too. When you're in a pool and then you see like babies with their swim diapers on.
Yeah.
And you're like, what's in that diaper?
Yeah. There's shit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Yeah. Let's go to the Four Seasons.
I know babies need to swim too. I get it. But that doesn't mean that I have to swim with you. You know what I mean? This one says, a kid in middle school invited me on a trip to an amusement park with his family and a few friends. It was implied that this trip was going to be a date, and I was excited about it because that would have been my first date. He gave me a ticket the week before. On the big day, my mom waited for me at the entrance until they arrived, then said hi to his parents and then left. The kid who invited me then pulls me aside out of his parents' sight and asked me for my ticket back. He said he invited a different friend to come and would rather hang out with her. He told his parents that I got scared and left with my mom while their back was turned, and he could see the other girl waiting nearby with my dad. Oh my God, he left me there with crying with no ticket. I didn't have a cell phone at the time. I remember being terrified and really sad. I ended up having to ask the lady at the ticket counter for a phone, and a security officer waited until my mom came back. My mom called that kid's parents later that night and they ripped him a new one. Good. The kid got grounded for 6 months and bullied me for the rest of middle school. Man.
I hate that all around.
Me too. Oh, that just breaks my heart.
Oh.
What a little dickhead. But I'm glad that his parents grounded him for it and taught him a lesson. You know what I mean? Rather than like,
dick.
What a little shithead. You were better off. Sparkle Horsies. That's her name. Listen, Sparkle Horsies. You are better off.
Yes.
And you will find someone else to ride sparkly horsies with.
That's right. And you're a stronger person for this experience. This is going to give you some character, and you're not going to put up with shit from men in the future.
Yes. Listen, if you go learn those lessons at a young age, then you know what you're working with for the rest of life.
That's right.
Yeah. That's it for mine.
Whew. Yep. Doesn't make me want to go to Six Flags anytime soon.
I definitely don't.
It did. It did its work. Okay. So My list this week is actually inspired by the list that you did 2 weeks ago of the 50 worst songs. And this is from screenrants.com by Jack Walters, and it is 12 most overrated movies that everyone pretends to love.
I love this. This is going to be so fun.
Okay, so I'm very curious about how you feel about this, how people at home feel about this list. All right, so are you ready? I'm going to go 12 to 1. So number 12 is Fight Club.
I like Fight Club. I don't care what anybody says, I do.
Same. I do too. It says, although Fight Club is still a good movie, many audiences fall in love with the ideas behind the story rather than the final product itself. It's filled with interesting ideology about society, individuality, and even mental health, but the execution doesn't even come close to some of David Fincher's other works.
Okay.
He says that Fight Club is one that's become a cult classic because it feels provocative. I don't know. I think it was, of its time, like a really interesting movie.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah. I mean, people like, I think that it is a movie that has been copied over and over. Like, people have tried to copy that same feeling, I mean, I disagree with this one.
I'm totally drawing a blank. I have one of his books on my nightstand right now. The writer who wrote Fight Club.
Chuck Close?
Chuck
Palahniuk.
Palahniuk.
Chuck Close is
I've
the
read
artist.
like all of
Yeah.
I've read like almost all of Chuck Palahniuk's books, and it's such a unique idea.
Yeah.
Great book, great idea, great concept, and it was a fun movie. And listen, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton not gonna turn it away.
Yeah.
I disagree with this one, but
yeah.
Let's hear what else they have to say.
Okay, so number 11 is The Notebook.
Okay, The Notebook. I feel like I watched it one time.
Mm-hmm.
I had a real good fucking cry in the shower for a long time. And then I never want to look at it again. I put it away.
Yeah.
I don't want to take that back out.
Yeah.
You know?
Agreed. I mean, I think it's fine. I think that people probably think it's like it. I don't think it was rated so high ever. Like, so I don't think it's overrated. I think it just is like maybe overexposed.
I think it just really played on everyone's emotions. Not only like the love story, but the heartbreaking ending was just like, it's like a real like Beaches, you know? It's like you watch it to, I was thinking about this term the other day when you were talking about, you had said it on Dumb Love. Someone had once said that like looking through it's like your ex's Instagram is shopping for pain.
Mm-hmm.
I think like watching The Notebook or something like that is you're just shopping for pain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going there to cry. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you're like, this is what I need. I just want the release. But I also just think I just don't remember it being like this lauded movie. Like, I think it was what it was. It was like a rom-com, a very sappy rom-com. Like,
yeah, like people refer to it when you're thinking of something that makes you sad.
Yeah,
right?
Not like, oh, this is an Oscar-winning movie. So I don't think it's overrated. Yeah. I think it's rated just fine. They said the reality is the movie doesn't do much that isn't seen in every other successful rom-com today. They're all formulaic. The Notebook is considered an epic love story, but it's actually pretty formulaic and relies solely on the chemistry between McAdams and Gosling. Yeah, I mean, agreed.
So what do you want it? What do you want it to be?
What do you want it to be? Okay.
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so number 10, I think, is probably will offend some people. So number 10 is Jaws.
Okay,
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am not a huge Jaws fan.
People make such a big deal about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's always, quoting it. Everybody's like, oh, Jaws. And like having like movie nights by the water where you watch Jaws. And it's like, all right, like it's, it's a good movie, but
yeah,
it didn't really do anything for me.
Okay, so you agree. So this says Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Jaws will always be an iconic movie for several reasons, but the most noteworthy aspect of the film is how strongly it reinvented the concept of the summer blockbuster. It says it's hard to take the film's special effects too seriously today, and when it's viewed outside the context of its cultural boom, the movie struggles to keep up with more modern disaster flicks. So, yeah, I mean, okay.
Yeah, we might get killed for saying that, but
okay.
sorry.
Number 9 is Chinatown.
Oh, I actually really love Chinatown.
I really love Chinatown too. I think it is like it calls it's a slow burn neo-noir, and I love that. I love the the slow burn. And I think it says the story is incredibly slow and it can be difficult for audiences to really invest themselves in this kind of story. If you need fast, no. go to fucking TikTok, you know?
Go somewhere else. Yeah. Who is this person again?
Jack Walters.
Okay, Jack.
Okay, number 8.
Okay.
Forrest Gump.
I mean, how can you I'm like at a loss right now. I just think Forrest Gump is one of those like undeniable like great fucking movies that just touch on every time period, touch on every emotion, touch on every kind of relationship a person can have.
Yeah.
It's just like I think it's a masterpiece and the soundtrack is incredible. I really can't think of any bad things to say about Forrest Gump, but Jack does. What does he have to say?
Okay, he says there have been several bad winners of Best Picture Oscars over the year, and while Forrest Gump isn't strictly the worst, it definitely didn't deserve to be crowned the best movie of 1994. While many audiences held strong amounts of nostalgia for the project, and Hanks is admittedly great in the lead role, it's essentially just a regular drama with a pretty compelling romance at its heart. It's not overwhelmingly bad. I think that is real reductive. Like it is.
Yeah.
It's a very it's a very inventive movie. Okay. It's not overwhelmingly bad, but the fact that Forrest Gump was awarded instead of movies such as The Shawshank Redemption and Pulp Fiction is shocking. And I kind of actually,
that's a hard year.
I agree with that.
It doesn't mean that it's not. Yeah. Like that was 94.
Yeah.
To be for all of those three to be in the ring together, that's crazy. How do you choose, really?
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction was incredible, and Shawshank Redemption. I love Shawshank. It's every person will tell you it's one of the movies that you will watch over and over and over and over and never get tired of it. But so is Forrest Gump.
Right.
I really don't see that big of a difference between Forrest Gump and Shawshank, honestly. I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
But I mean, Pulp Fiction was something totally different.
I agree. Yeah, Pulp Fiction was in its own category. It really was like I had never seen anything like that when it came out.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, Forrest Gump, like you could kind of pick from any of those. I probably wouldn't pick Forrest Gump, but like it doesn't mean it's an overrated movie just because it was out in the same year of other great movies. Okay, the next one is The Shining.
Okay.
You agree?
I don't love it the way other people love it. I'll say that. I think it's an amazing book. Stephen King is an incredible writer. Obviously, Jack Nicholson was incredible in the movie. The great acting. And it's creepy as hell. It's terrifying.
Yeah.
It is a great movie, but I don't love it the way other people love it.
Yeah. I'm not I really have no feelings towards it, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay. And this next one I actually haven't seen. But I do actually think that most people say it is not that great, is Avatar.
My kids love it, but it doesn't. And I think Disney did a really great job of doing the like Avatar world or whatever in Disney. That's really cool. But the movie didn't really do much for me. It was pretty to look at. I
feel like it's one of those movies that people generally say like, yes, it was very, like it was cool effects. They were cool effects. It was a new, I don't know what I don't know what the effects are. Revolutionary. Like
the animation.
The animation. Yeah. So, and like what they said, one aspect that definitely deserves endless praise is the visuals. Those special effects were revolutionary for the time, pushing boundaries of what could be done on screen. Unfortunately, what's happening on the page isn't anywhere near as inventive, which I would think most people would agree. But that also means like then it isn't rated high. I disagree with the way he's making his list. Okay, number 5 is The Greatest Showman. Greatest Showman.
It's a fun movie. Like, it's not the best movie. I don't know who's saying it's the best movie
That's what
ever.
I'm saying. Like, nobody's saying it's the best movie.
Nobody's saying that. But it's like, it's a cute, fun movie that my kids really like. My kids really like it. And the music in it is great.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is that it has an amazing soundtrack. And so it's one of those things like, I mean, I'm not comparing it to Hamilton, but I'm saying that like I would listen to The Greatest Showman. Why can't I say that right? Greatest Showman. The Greatest Showman soundtrack. And I would also listen over and over to Hamilton soundtrack. So I think that makes you love the movie more when it's something that you want to listen to.
Sometimes, like, as a parent and you're forced to watch all of these like family friendly kids movies or whatever, every once in a while the universe will throw you a fucking bone, and that bone is The Greatest Showman or something like that, where you're like, yeah, okay, we could watch this one for the 10th time and I won't want to like throw something out the window. You know what I mean? Like, you just take them and you hold them and you be grateful for them that they exist, because I'll tell you, there's a lot of really terrible TV shows and movies out there for kids.
Yeah.
So
again, I don't think that anybody was calling it the best movie ever. So, okay. Number 4, I think this will hurt some people's feelings, is Frozen.
Okay. I mean, it's not my favorite, but little girls, it's like crack.
Yeah.
To little girls. And I remember when every little girl will go through their Frozen phase and they will play it over and over and over and over and over. The soundtrack is listenable. It doesn't bother me that much.
Yeah.
Do I know every single word? Yeah.
Do I wish my brain was remembering that stuff? No.
But I don't think it's the best movie ever. But I mean, for little girls or little kids, you know, for little children, yes, it is to them.
Yes.
So let them have it.
I don't think the story is that great, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's a Disney movie. It's fine.
Yeah.
Jack says, it's a perfectly fine movie, but calling it one of Disney's best is a disservice to the real accomplishments they've had over the years. Okay, Jack.
Well, it's one of the biggest commercial successes
for sure.
Disney was Frozen, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, number 3 is The Silence of the Lambs.
I kind of agree with that. I think it's very scary. It's a good movie, but like I don't know that it like deserves to be. I think it more has to do with the way that it affected people. I don't know that the movie is like the best movie ever, but every person can tell you, like, remember that feeling they had when they watched it. So it's the feeling that you're connecting to the movie.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that movie, When a Stranger Calls?
Uh-huh.
And like everybody remembers like how fucking terrifying that was. It was a horrible movie.
Yeah.
Terrible movie.
Yeah.
But everybody remembers When a Stranger Calls because it fucked them up so bad. And I think that like Silence of the Lambs is one of those movies that just like really fucked people up a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's why people always remember it.
And it just caught it caught the imagination of people in a way that, you know, we weren't the true crime society that we are now. And that was like a movie that was so surprisingly graphic and creepy in a way that was like, hey, this is based on real stuff, and was so scary in that way because it wasn't like over the top monster. It wasn't Freddy Krueger.
Yes. Yeah. It wasn't like, your typical, it was something that could be very real. Yeah. Just like When a Stranger Calls.
But I mean, I agree. It's not the best movie ever. So, okay. So number 2 is Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi.
Oh, okay. I really couldn't tell you one way or the other.
Yeah. So that's the third in the original trilogy. And I don't know when the last time I watched that. I know I'm just not a Star Wars person. I don't care about any of it, and I apologize, but like,
Same. I'm not. I mean, this again, Disney did a great job with doing the whole Star Wars land and everything. And like my kids love Star Wars. It's a special thing in our household.
Mhm.
Like it's special to them. It's special to their dad. But I don't even know the names of anyone.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you. I'm just
Queen Amidala. I don't know.
Like I remember watching them as kids, and it was a huge thing, but I really haven't. It's not.
Yeah.
People are obsessed, and I'm wondering if people who love Star Wars, how they feel about that. What this guy says is that the original Star Wars trilogy is often called the greatest sci-fi trilogy ever made, and that would probably be true if Return of the Jedi even came close to the greatness of its two predecessors.
Tell you what, Jack sounds like a real Star Wars nerd. He sounds like offended by the third one. I'm surprised okay, now I'm getting a better sense of who Jack is. Okay, what's number one?
Okay, and number one most overrated movie that everybody pretends to love is Avengers Infinity War.
Dude, okay, now I really know who Jack is. He's a fucking nerd, dude. Which is fine. I do love nerds. But like nerds are great. Listen, I'm going to Dragon Con tonight. I fucking love nerds. But now this whole list makes sense to me now.
Yeah.
That's his number one most hated movie is Avengers and Infinity War. Like
I know.
Oh my God. Okay.
I was like, I thought we were going to be like,
I got your number.
or something.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's the thing is that he loves it. He's like, Avengers Infinity War is a fun movie, hugely entertaining, filled with action, and brimming with familiar faces. Once that initial excitement wears off, however, the story isn't anywhere near as revolutionary as many audiences claimed. Like, okay. He said it's a movie that's adored for simply what it is, but not what it actually does.
Okay. I can see what his bedroom looks like. I know this guy.
There you go. Jen sticking it to the nerds today. You're feisty today.
Good. I listen, like I said, I fucking love nerds. I just like this. I had to. It makes now I have like a whole the whole list is recalibrated to me.
Yeah.
Added to see it through this Jack's eyes. I can understand.
So you guys, we want to hear from you. Do you have any horror stories from amusement parks? And what is a movie that you think is totally overrated? I want to hear that. Give it to us.
Yeah, give it to us. I can't even, I'm trying to think of a movie that I think is so overrated. God, I'll have to do some research, but I'll come back next week with my own opinion.
Yeah. I want to hear from you. I'm not a huge movie person, so I'm not the best person to make a list like that, but I'll ask Ben. I'll ask my husband.
I know I've got opinions. I just have
got opinions. You went to film
I've got to
school.
formulate them first. Can't just go throwing them out there all willy-nilly. I really have to think about this. Speaking of our lists, so this week, you guys, we are doing a little segment called List of Fury.
Lists of Fury. Yes.
Thank you, Matt Pesciani, for not only giving us that little clip, List of Fury clip, but also Matt Pesciani once again made our theme song for the show. I don't know if we've shouted him out yet, but
I don't think so. Yeah. No. Thank you, Matt. He's always amazing.
Fun, funny, great dude. All right. So this week we're going to talk. So List of Fury is going to be when we talk about things that like we don't like or we can't stand or, what gets us real fired up.
Let's get fired up. Let's get fired up.
And so this week we're going to talk about what our top 5 most annoying phrases are.
Yes. I'm excited about this one.
Do you want to start?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start. sorry, I'm going to go 5-1.
Okay.
So my number 5 most hated phrase, and I think that this is really only going to make sense to people who are on TikTok a lot. So I apologize, or on social media a lot, because I see it there all the time, and it like just it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. And it's when people start their TikToks or their videos and they go, "Hey besties. Hey besties." I hate it.
I have no idea. I avoid TikTok like the plague.
I know. I was gonna say I know that it's not gonna track with you, but I feel like there are some people out there who are like, "Yes,
hey besties,
hey
exactly.
besties,
Okay.
besties. Let me tell you about this, besties." Like that's what they're calling their viewers, and it just, I hate it. I
don't like that either. That would annoy me. Okay, mine is, can I talk to you for a second? Or do you have a minute? Because it's never just a minute.
Never.
And you're just, and that just means like you're about to say something so annoying to me, or like add like 5 hours onto my workload, or you're going to ask me a favor and I'm not going to nothing ever good ever follows. Can I talk to you for a second? Do you have a minute? Never
Can
ever.
I pick your brain about?
Yeah. Can I pick your brain? I hate that too. Sarah Silverman has a joke about how I can't remember if it was a joke or just something she said conversationally, maybe on her podcast, but she always jokes about when people say like, "Can I steal you for a second? Can I steal you for a second? Can I steal you?" It's the same thing. It's like, yeah. It's like, no. Yeah, I hate it. Okay.
No.
Now you go.
Okay. My number 4 is boys will be boys.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That makes me so mad when people say that.
Yes. I mean, it's
unless boys are giving me flowers and taking me out on romantic dates.
Yep.
And doing yard work for me, then boys can't just be boys.
Okay? You can't just be boys. And we can't use that as an excuse to explain
bad behavior.
Bad behavior.
Yeah. Excuse bad behavior. Yeah. Okay. Mine is, and this was very, I think people are still saying it, but it was very popular a few years ago, but sorry, not sorry. You're not sorry. So stop saying it. I hate that phrase. Sorry.
Yeah. I think that's in like the same vein as like, no offense, but that kind of thing, just like, I'm offense,
but
I'm being cutesy so that I can get away with saying something awful.
Right.
Sorry, not sorry.
I think sorry, not sorry actually originated from Stassi Schroeder on Vanderpump Rules by her saying, "I'm sorry that I'm not sorry." Like she said that earnestly said, like, "I'm sorry that I'm not," and then it turned into a whole like, sorry, not sorry, because people love that she said that, and then I think it just became like a part of the zeitgeist, and it annoys me, and I don't like it.
I mean, when people say that nothing good comes out of reality TV, they're really wrong, Jen.
I know.
Okay, my number 3, and I know you will agree with this one, is when someone says, "I'm the type of person who..."
Oh yeah, I hate that so much.
Yeah. It's like, why don't you just show me?
I hate that. This one is I actually don't even know the correct phrase. I didn't even bother to look it up. But I don't think anybody knows. 2 in a hand is worth 2 in a bushel. Bush bucket. A bucket of birds. What does it mean?
I think it's 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush.
But what does that even mean?
I think it means that like if you have something, that's better than like two things that you might be able to get. Like, I have this in my possession, so why am I going after some maybes?
So 1 in a hand is worth 2 in a bush. So you're saying that this is the same as this?
You're just saying like, I think it's saying like,
I have to Google it. Okay.
Yeah. Like be grateful for what you have. Don't keep going after things that are like possibilities if you have something. I think that's what that means.
A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. It's better to hold on to something one already has than to risk losing it by trying to attain another. All right. I think I get what they're saying. Like, so like you've got the bird in your hand, just be happy. And then if you try to get the two in the bush, you would lose your birds.
Yeah, you'd
Is that what
lose
it's
your
saying?
bird. Yeah, and you may not
Well-
get those other birds. You may not get the bush birds.
I still don't like it, but okay.
Okay. I will never use it around you. Okay, this one I think is going to be very specific to comedians, but Jen, I probably also hate this phrase, is you should use that in your act.
Oh, yes.
People say it all the time. If
I know.
if they do something they think is funny or something weird, they're like, "Oh, you should put that in your act." It's like,
Yeah.
no,
Or
I would
don't
never.
don't use that. Don't
No, it's
use
like,
that.
I do.
I know. Yeah. That's like, are you still doing your skits?
Uh-huh. Keep it up. Keep up.
Doing
Keep
it right
up.
now. This one is, I don't know that I'm reading it. I'm like, does it bother me that much? I don't know. Is fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's like, no, shame on you all the time.
Yes, shame
Leave
on
me
you.
alone.
Yeah.
Stop fooling me.
Stop fooling me.
I hate, but like I can't stand the type of humor. Like I don't like gotcha humor. I don't like pranks. I don't like because I can't stand the type of humor that makes fun of someone for trusting you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like I did the right thing by believing you, and you made me look like an idiot, and now you're making that's the kind of thing that I don't like. Is like, why am I the idiot for believing you? If I just walked around all the time and was like, no, you fucking liar, no way, no way, like I would be, people would think I was crazy. But it's like if stop lying to me then.
Right.
It's your fault. I just don't like that. And I don't like when people do that kind of gotcha prank humor or whatever, because it's like, all you did was just lie to me and you think it's funny. You know what I mean?
Because
like,
I
why
ended
is
up
that
looking
funny?
stupid.
That's so lazy. Yeah. And it's like, and all I did was just, take everything that you were saying as the truth. So shame on me. It's just, I don't like that phrase.
I agree.
Anyway.
I think I have never thought about it like that, but I agree with you. With you.
Thank you.
Okay, my number one most hated phrase is, can you give me a quick call?
Oh, okay. I think that's kind of like, can I steal you for a second?
It is, but I think
but in this case, you have to call.
You have to call, and when they give no context. No context.
Yes.
Like if somebody just texts you and is like, can you give me a quick call? It's like, is something wrong? If something's wrong, call me. And if something's wrong, if it's not something wrong, if it's not something dire, then like give me some context. I've started saying that at work. If somebody says that, I say, before I call you, I need you to give me context, because I need to know if this is an emergency. Sally. I'm just like, it's an emergency. If it's an emergency, you can call me or I will call you, but like, I have to know what this is about. I'm not just calling you out of the blue.
Good for you, Sally. That's very smart. It's just like when people say, are you free on November 12th? And it's like, why?
For
like
what?
that. It happens to comedians all the time.
Yes.
Bookers will just be like, are you free on August 12th? And it's like, well, for what? For, a show that's going to pay a lot of money and it's a cool venue or whatever? Or are you going to be like, can you do this gig for $30 at a bar in Noonan? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like,
and it's almost always the bar. Like, if it's something good, they tell you up front.
I don't want to tell you I'm free. Are you going to ask me to help you move? Or are you inviting me to dinner somewhere cool? Like, tell me why first.
Yes.
And my most hated phrase ever. This is nails on a chalkboard to me. It doesn't make any sense. And if you say this phrase, if you use this phrase, you're probably a backer-inner when you park. Is 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. When people use that phrase to say that something is the same, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. It's like, just say it's the same. The same is one word. It's one syllable.
Yeah.
Save us both time and seconds off our precious lives by just saying it's the same.
Yeah.
But when you say that phrase, it's so long. It doesn't make any, like, it's just, it's such a time suck, and it's just you're trying to make yourself look interesting. I feel like when people say
that's
that.
really funny. I mean, that's
hate
such
that
a good.
phrase.
That's the same as backing in.
Yes.
No offense to my friend Grace, who is a lovely person and a backrunner.
Listen, my ex-husband may or may not have been a backrunner and said this phrase all the time.
I mean, I can kind of tell from the voice.
Does it still bother me? Yes. Oh, when I said that I did the voice, sits in one hand, I'm doing in the other. Listen,
Like,
amazing father, wonderful dad, great friend, great person. But that would drive me fucking crazy.
yeah.
Ugh. I was convinced he would say it just because he knew it drove me crazy.
You're like, just say same. All right. Well, guys, that was our list of fury. I want to hear, what are your most hated phrases? There were like so many I could put on this list.
I know that. I know I'm missing some. So that's why we need your help. So we want to hear it.
I want to hear it. I think that we could really make a big list of these.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that some of them I am totally I am accused. I actually said on the last episode, I think I said something. I said that grinds my gears, which I think is a horrible phrase, but it was like one of those things that just came out of my mouth and I didn't mean it. Like I did before I knew it.
You know what? I say all the time that is one of Jim's most hated phrases is but I didn't realize it was annoying, and I say it all the time, is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like, I say that a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, that annoys him. So
it's funny.
Guess we're gonna have to break up.
Bird in the hand, you know what I'm saying?
We're two in a bushel.
All right,
6
everybody.
in one and a dozen in the other bush.
5 bushels.
Yes.
Guys, that's our episode. Thanks for listening. Get in touch. We are on all of the social media. We're on Instagram at The Ridiculous Pod, and all of their social media at The Ridiculous Podcast. We have a website, The Ridiculous Podcast. We would love if you would rate and review and tell a friend. That would be great.
Yeah, do all this. Thank you guys so much for all of the reviews we've been getting. They're all so nice and complimentary.
So
and
nice.
We just love it. We just would love more of that from other people. Thank you guys so much for everything. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week on The Ridiculous.
Ridiculous, ridiculous, ridiculous. You.